Welcome, everyone. We are back for another episode of Indie Reads Aloud. I'm your host, Diana Catherine Penn, and today with me in the studio is Tudor Alexander. I am super excited to bring this new to me author to you, not only because I think he's written an interesting story, but also because he has a whole historic background from another country. And I love hearing about people's experiences of life that are different from my own. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy this episode as much as I do. Just to let you be aware, there will be some mature language in today's reading. So if you have little ears, please preview this before you share it with the little ears in the room, just to be certain that we're making sure that we are age appropriate for our listeners. So just to remind you of that. So welcome, Tudor Alexander. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
This is really exciting for me because, as I said in the opening, I really enjoy learning about perspectives in writing that people bring from different cultures. For me, that makes writing very enriching and tactile. So tell me a little bit about your experience in writing The Last Patient. As we talked in the green room, this is not your first book, but it is recently published in this year. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But what made you decide to write this particular historical novel?
Well, I would call this novel something based on family lore. It is inspired by my parents' history, and of course, it's fictionalized. And what I find when I wrote the book, I wanted to write it my entire life, but I wanted to wait until I got the perspective and the maturity and the experience to do it right. And so I started writing this book in 2016, and it took a long time to write it. The book is
Sure.
about 380 pages, so it's not
Okay.
very long, but it's not short either. And it covers about 4 decades of life in communist Romania. And then the last part of the book is about 10 years of life in the United States as immigrants. And I think that the story is both exotic and extremely relevant to today's reader because of the realities that the people in Romania had to face that sometimes mirror some events that are taking place in our country today. And immigration, I think, is a great subject because it is, in my opinion, grossly misunderstood in today's
Sure. I
society.
would agree with you. What is it about the Romanian background, the cultural background, that you'd like to bring to our attention to make sure we don't misunderstand as we listen to your reading?
I certainly from my reading, you just get a glimpse of the whole novel. But what is relevant is that it is a society where things were controlled by a higher authority to a large degree that the American readers are not used to. Like were banned, movies were banned, travel was banned. And
So a
all
lot of control on the
absolutely.
messaging that gets out.
And people lived a duplicitous life, not in the sense that they were not honest to each other, but they behaved in a certain way in public and in a totally different way at home. And in spite of all that, people learned to be happy and to love and to enjoy and to go through everything that people go through in anywhere in the world. So it's both the universality of the experience as much as the part that is very specific to a communist country, to an East European communist country.
Okay,
And that's
awesome.
basically, yeah.
Awesome. I am looking forward to hearing a little bit of this. I'm super intrigued and I'd like to hear a little bit and then maybe we can talk a little bit about it afterward.
Sure. Do you want me to start reading?
In just a minute. First, I want you to hold up the book so everybody can see the book.
Okay,
The
sure.
title of this book is The Last Patient,
The
and
last page.
it's a striking cover. I really like that cover.
Okay, thank you.
So,
It took a little effort to design it. We went
I
through
the
about
covers
first
always
and
do, don't
yeah.
they?
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
always such a heartache to find just the right cover.
The publisher is an independent publisher out of Ohio. Their name
Okay,
is Boyle and Dalton, and they did an excellent job in producing the book and in designing it and in helping me marketing it.
fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing you read. So, when you are ready, sir, take the microphone and read aloud from The
Let,
Last Patient.
let, let me just say that I will start with the first chapter, and the first chapter is called Class Struggle, which is terminology used a lot in the communist era, and the time is March 1950 in Bucharest, Romania.
Perfect.
So, can I start?
Absolutely. You may begin. Thank you, sir.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so class struggle. It gets worse by the day, Kostya said. We are small potatoes, Clara said. I don't think they would touch us. The Soviets are here to stay, Kostya said. I'm afraid they'll touch everybody. Kostya removed a strand of blond hair from his face and walked to the dark window. The bare bulb in the ceiling was spreading a dull yellow light in the kitchen. Old furniture lay scattered everywhere. Uncle Sebastian, he said. I just heard that they gave him 12 years. Clara shrugged. I practically grew up with the man, Kostya continued, a melancholy smile on his face. You know, he's Eugene's uncle. I don't understand what he did that was so terrible. Nothing, Kostya said. He buried 12 stupid gold coins in the backyard. Somebody saw him and informed the authorities. That person was being vigilant. Vigilant, get it? The new lexicon, the word of the day. Everything is a class struggle. The war ended 5 years ago, yet we're still fighting. Uncle Sebastian tried to hide 12 coins of his pre-war family fortune, and they gave him 12 years. They are setting an example, Clara said. Poor man, poor us, poor everybody. Kostya was on a roll, his eyes steely. You're right, we are small potatoes, but it doesn't matter. What started at the top extends now to everybody. Simply put, it's terror. Kostya, don't scare me. I'm tired. Seated, Clara rested her head on the kitchen table and looked at her husband sideways. As she twisted, her belly protruded forward like an oversized melon. She was 9 months pregnant, still worked, and had spent the entire day at Elias Hospital, where both she and Kostya were employed as interns. Sure you are, Kostya said. He kneeled next to her, brought her hand to his lips, and kissed it. Any time now, you might go into labor. And the baby room isn't ready. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. Just then, there were loud knocks on the door and male voices. Kostya jumped to his feet. You stay here. A man, a woman, and a child, escorted by a policeman in uniform, stood by the front door. Comrade Bardu, your apartment has been subdivided, the policeman informed Kostya, handing him an authorization with the emblem of the precinct. These are Comrade Sorin and Marta Ionescu and their 5-year-old son, Radu. Your second bedroom was assigned to them with access to your kitchen and bathroom. Kostya paled. Haltingly, Clara had followed him, and he heard her breathing behind him. He turned and pointed at her rounded belly. There must be a mistake. We need the space. We are expecting a baby. The policeman shrugged. I'm merely executing an order. You know, there is an acute housing shortage after the war. All of us make sacrifices. For a few seconds, the Ionescu stayed silent. Then Sorin Ionescu asked to inspect the premise. He led with a heavy step, Marta, Radu, and the policeman trailing. We'll be here tomorrow with a truck full of furniture, he announced with a sweeping arm gesture, and we expect our room to be ready. We need you to make space in the bathroom and kitchen, added Marta Ionescu. In the days that followed, the Ionescus became noisier and more assertive. A few times Kostia was on the verge of confronting them, Clara managing each time to calm him down and preserve a precarious balance. During the day, Sorin went to work, as did Kostia and Clara. Marta stayed home with little Radu. Sorin proudly informed Kostia that he was a communist activist at a major Bucharest manufacturing shop called Red Grivița. Everything in the new communist world was red. Everything. Now we have a time break, and it follows. Clara shook Kostia and told him that her water had broken. Sweat formed on his forehead. The doctor in him took over, and he brought towels and helped her get dressed. The Demetriades in the apartment 2 levels above had a phone. It was 4 in the morning, so Kostya knocked hard on the door. The chance of getting a cab or an ambulance were practically non-existent, and he called Professor Dinescu, who sent over his government-issue Pobeda sedan and his driver. Both Clara and Kostya had been his students in medical school, and he had kept in touch with them with an eye towards influencing their future careers. Weeks earlier, he had told Kostya, when Clara's labor begins, don't hesitate, day or night, call me. This was the type of man the professor was, helpful and calculating. As Clara waddled down from the steps to the dark street, holding on to the handrail with one hand and Kostya's arm with the other, the Ionescus showed up in the doorway. You made such a ruckus, I feared the Americans had landed. Marta yelled at them, her robe half unbuttoned. Don't you know that our baby is sleeping? Kostya's first impulse was to tell her to shove it, but he was too preoccupied with Clara and ignored her. Despite the early hour, the car ride to Elias Hospital took a full 20 minutes. As the contractions came and went, Clara panted and moaned, her tearful green eyes filled with fear. Her dark brown hair was disheveled, and beads of perspiration ran down her forehead. She squeezed Kostya's hand. At the hospital, Clara's obstetrician, Dr. Pop, determined they had a while longer to wait and assigned them a private room. The fact that they worked there assured them special treatment. Propped up by pillows, Clara tried to breathe and relaxed. Her hair fanned over her shoulders. Her hair fanned. She rested her bare arms on her belly, and Kostya imagined the baby curled up inside, getting ready for the big journey. Kostya, Clara said, my mother doesn't know I'm here. Kostya nodded and went to the nurse's station. It was a few minutes before 6, and the night shift was ending. He saw a familiar face among the tired nurses getting ready to leave. Good morning, Monica, he said, sounding deliberately positive. The nurse waved as she adjusted her overcoat. It's happening, Kostya said. Clara's in labor. I know, and good luck to you both, Monica said. She smiled. I'm out of here till my next shift. Listen, could you do Clara a favor? I'll try anything for your beautiful wife, Dr. Bardu. You live in the same neighborhood as Clara's mother. Stop by her place and ask her to come here. Monica hesitated. Kostya took a large bill from his wallet and offered it to her. No, Monica said, looking around at the other nurses who didn't seem to be paying attention. Yes, Kostya said, you're here after a sleepless night and under no obligation to help us. This is too much, Monica said, reaching for the money. If you think it's too much, I'll ask you for something else. Go by my friend's place 2 streets down the road from my mother-in-law and give him the same information. Tell him that if he can, I'll see him later at the garden. Kostya went to the dispatch table and wrote the names and addresses on a piece of paper. Monica nodded, placed the paper in her purse, and left the hospital. Another time break. And then, as soon as Clara's mother arrived, Kostya hugged Clara, threw on his doctor's coat, and joined the team of interns on their morning rounds. He didn't want to leave his wife, but her mother was there, and he was a doctor, duty called, and he knew that for the moment there was nothing more he could do for Clara. She was in good hands, he'd be close by, and the time would pass faster if he kept busy. At lunchtime, Professor Dinescu took a break in his schedule and stopped by Elias Hospital. His voice assured he spoke to Dr. Pop while absent-mindedly patting Clara's hand. Her status was unchanged. Hearing that the professor was there, Kostya left the interns and came back to the room to meet him. Professor Dinescu stood and grabbed his gray fedora. "Walk out with me, Kostya." "Is it all right if I stop by the garden?" Kostya asked Clara. "The guys might be there." Silently, Clara nodded. Kostya turned to his mother-in-law. "If it's time, tell a nurse. They'll know where to find me." He removed his doctor coat and stepped into the balmy spring air with the professor. The older man walked a half step ahead of his former student, looking tall and elegant in his dark overcoat and fedora. Kostya kept his eyes down out of respect and slight apprehension. If the professor wanted to walk with him, he might have something new to offer, and it was wise to be patient. The guard at the hospital gate stood at attention. His fingers pointed at his cap in a military-style salute. "My honor, Comrade Professor, sir. And you too, Comrade Doctor." His burning cigarette rolled out on the ground. He squashed it under his boot and opened the personal door to the street. "Dr. Bardu," he added with a smile, "I guess congratulations are in order." "Not yet," said Kostya. "They are estimating a few more hours, so I'm going to kill some time at the garden." "Sure thing," the guard said. "What's a man to do but drink while he waits for his wife to deliver?" "Smart ass," Kostya said. "They'll send somebody for me when she's ready." "When I saw your missus so big this morning, I said to myself the baby would come in no time. But maybe you'll have twins, Dr. Bardo." Kostya shrugged and followed the professor into the street. The Pobeda was waiting, engine running. "I have to go now," Professor Dinescu said as he leaned forward to enter his car, while the silhouette of the triumphal arch looming behind him. "I hope to hear from you very soon, Kostya. Remember, the world is changing. Come work for me, and Clara can come work for me also. Honestly, you'd be a fool to reject my offer." The wide, tree-lined Kiselev Boulevard leading to the Triumphal Arch split and went on either side of the monument. There was no traffic, and Kostya crossed the boulevard at a leisurely pace. That was it, he said to himself. Nothing new from Dinescu, except a repeat of his job offer, which was a very good thing. And the fact that Clara could work there also. Yes, right, Clara. Clearly Dinescu liked her, but Clara was Kostya's wife, and Kostya tried hard not to be jealous. At the base of the arch, a dozen men in striped inmate uniforms tilled a flower bed. 3 soldiers sat quietly on the curb, their bayoneted rifles on the pavement next to them, watching the inmates and smoking. The inmates were political detainees, weak and scared representatives of the former ruling class, presenting no flight risk whatsoever. The soldiers showed no interest in Kostya. They were very young, boys really. As he walked, Kostya thought of a time years ago when he was as young as these soldiers. He was just returning to Bucharest after being discharged from his army surgical unit, and he'd written to tell Clara he was coming home. They had been apart for more than a year, and he was eager to hold her in his arms. Fighting was still going on in western Romania, and the train, full of soldiers returning from Moldova, was delayed again and again. Kostya didn't dare hope to find Clara waiting for him, but after his train arrived and the platform cleared of soldiers, there she was, sitting on a metal bench at the end of the tracks, wearing a bright summer dress, clasping her little purse, a smile on her face, or her beautiful tired face. This happened late August 1944. It was March 1950 now, a lifetime. Clara and Kostya had graduated medical school and gotten married. The king was exiled, the pro-Soviet government had taken over, and the purges had begun. People spied on each other. They behaved one way at home and with friends, and in a different way on the phone and in public. Now Clara was giving birth. Their apartment had been subdivided, and he had to decide on his job. It was a lot, and he needed to stay calm and collected. Whatever the future held, he had to ensure his wife and child were protected. Well, this is the end of the chapter.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. It from this reading, it sounds like there's a great adventure that awaits them coming up.
I don't know if adventures is the right word. Adventures is what they go through, but they go through real life and they have to put up with a lot of constraints and tame their ambitions. And like all people, they do some things which are right and some things which are less right.
Yes, absolutely. So when you were writing this book, what did you find was the most enjoyable part about the writing process for you?
Just the memory of all the stories that I heard my parents and grandparents tell growing up. And that was also the pitfall because when I finished the first draft, what I had was a collection of well written, uh, independent vignettes rather than a story with a strong story arc like a novel should have.
Right.
So rewriting that, rearranging those vignettes, creating new scenes, which I invented, deleting things, merging characters, and changing reality to make it fit what's expected of a novel was the challenge,
Was
which
it a fun challenge for you to do that new weaving together?
yes and no. Of course, it was fun, but it was frustrating too. You know the old expression with when you have a writer's block, and
Uh-huh.
rewriting is always both rewarding and difficult.
Absolutely. Yeah, the editorial process where I find my greatest joy. That's why I chose it as a career, because I like that reforming and polishing and
Well,
really bringing out the strengths of the story. That's fun for me.
over the course of finalizing this novel, I used the help of editorial, uh, three developmental editors.
That's
Two of them I
fantastic.
hired myself, and they worked with me independently. And the third one was provided by the publisher, by Boyle and Dalton. And I have to say that the developmental editors did a tremendous job, especially the last one.
I'm
But
so glad you were on the program with me today. I'm grateful that you read your new book, and we're very excited to see it become a tremendous success.
thank you very much. I wish that as well.
Thank you, and I hope you'll come back when your next book comes out.
Well, I have a complimentary or a novel that is going to be published in the first trimester of 2026, which is the same
Fantastic.
time period, but it is based on my wife's family history.
Nice. We will be looking for that. Thank you,
Okay.
Tudor. I appreciate you being on the show today.
And thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciated it.
You're most welcome.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.